What's going on? All right, thought I'd get a live stream in right quick. Talk about yesterday's boxing events. Talk about the MMA card with Tyrone Woodley and Kobe Covington. You know, talk about that right quick. Get that out the way. Just give my take on him and people that think just like him. At the end of the day, he already revealed who he was and what he was. He revealed it a long time ago, but it came out full throttle last night. But nevertheless, let me start with let me start with the Showtime card. Okay, I'll do a quick I'll talk about King Tut versus his fight with Breedy. Real good fight, excellent fight. Don't have no problem with King Tut winning the fight. I thought it was a very competitive fight. I kind of thought King Tut pulled it off. But it wouldn't have surprised me if they would have went in Breedy's favor because, at the end of the day, Breedy stole a couple of rounds, but King Tug, he fought a good fight. He won basically all power punches. He threw some nice combinations, but a lot of them was getting blocked. A lot of them was getting blocked, but Breedy fell behind early in the fight. And you give him credit, he got up from 2 knockdowns and was able to get back in the fight. I just felt some of the rounds, the more closer rounds, I felt that Breedy won it strictly just on activity. But nevertheless, if you ask me, do I want to see this fight again? Yeah, absolutely. I think it was enough of drama in that fight that warrant a rematch. So, yeah, I would like to see a rematch. But once again, it's levels to this shit. And styles make fights, which that's what I'm about to talk about also as well. Okay, so now that that's been said, now that I've talked about that, let me talk about something else. Okay, I'm gonna get to Harrison Lubin. It ain't really much to talk about with Harrison Lubin. Harrison Lubin was the main event. He had the spotlight, but then he fought like a up-and-coming fighter versus a dude that's supposed to be a future star. He played it safe, and there was opportunities for him to, if not go for the knockout, at least try to put on an offensive clinic versus a guy like Goucher. Goucher is not a offensive-minded fighter. He doesn't present a real power as far as punch and threat go to somebody like Lubin. And they put him in there for Lubin to look good, and Lubin just played it safe for 12 rounds. And, I don't want to say, I don't want to throw Lubin under the bus, but I'll just say this much. I was disappointed in his performance because he could have performed better. When they put you in the ring with guys that can't hurt you, if you don't at least try to stop the dude, they want you to let your hands go. Now, don't get me wrong. I had Lubin winning the fight like maybe 10 rounds to 2. But I felt there was opportunity for him to, if not close the show, just put on a stronger performance, and he just didn't do it. Yeah, what's up? He just didn't put on a good performance, and I think he let a lot of people down. I'm pretty sure he got a call from Al Heyman, probably like, "Hey man, I put that guy in the ring with you for you to like tee off on him." He went for broke versus Ishai Smith, but then he plays it safe with this dude. Now he kind of got rocked, like I think around the 9th round. But he recovered very well. I don't think he was on the verge of getting knocked out. But he did get caught. He recovered, and he went on to finish the fight. And he landed a big shot like in the 12th round and he hurt Boucher. It looked like he was a couple of punches away from like finishing him off, and I felt like, well, damn, had you done that throughout the fight, you probably would have stopped him. But Lubin blew a golden opportunity. When you get put on a main event and you are the main event, you're supposed to let it all hang. Because basically it's a showcase fight. It's for you to try to build a fan base. And I'm pretty sure people was disappointed in the performance. Lubin is a cool dude, but you got to tell the truth. He didn't put on a good performance. We have to tell the truth. The real star of that card was Jerron Boots Ennis, who put on a great performance against Abreu. He stopped the dude that had never been stopped before. He knocked him down multiple times. He boxed well. He was flashy. But I guarantee you they're going to find something wrong with him. I guarantee you. The fans say, hey, we don't want to see this Floyd stuff. Exciting fighters, we want to see dudes perform, and I guarantee people going to find something wrong with him. But he's an up-and-coming fighter. He's still like a prospect. He's 23. I know he stopped that dude that had never been stopped before, but at the end of the day, once again, it's levels. I don't think you rush him into a fight with Bud and Errol Spence, because I think they got too many tricks up their sleeve. They crafty veterans. They can do some things, show him some looks, some tricks that he ain't aware of, and then they can possibly, or more than likely, beat him. Because you got to understand, when it comes to boxing, they have what you call next waves. I don't think that Ennis is I think he's in the next wave, of fighters, because he's only 23. I don't think that he'll see Errol Spence or Bud Crawford, because at the end, or Sean Porter's or Danny Garcia's, because they at a point where those dudes need to try to fight each other. And like I said, once again, he's 23 years old. Now, a dude that we could be talking about him fighting somewhere down the line is Virgil Ortiz. But the question is, once again, can we get that? What would be the roadblock? Which we already know what would be the roadblock in getting that fight made, because we already know what's going on with other certain fights not being able to get made. So that probably would be the hurdle. But that's a fight we should be talking about within the next year or two. Those dudes are in the same wave. Sometimes you just have dudes that just don't get to fight certain fighters, whether you like it or not. But basically, this wave that we got going on, where we still can't get these dudes to fight each other, is sad, and it's terrible for the sport. And like I said before, what's going on? And what I said before, you just have this thing now where you can't get nothing made. You can't get any type of fight made. And this shouldn't be happening, because at the end of the day, we all lose out. The fans lose out, and to a certain degree, the fighters lose out. But right now, we all have this thing where everybody think they Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Good or bad? So now we have people who don't even have the stature or the resume that Floyd had, and they trying to pull this shit with getting certain fights made. So that's the problem. So I don't think Ennis is going to see guys like Crawford. And it wouldn't be a duck on their part. It's just certain things, certain fights that ain't going to get made. Because you got to start rolling in the next wave. Guys like Errol Spence, Bud, I ain't gonna say they on their way out, but you know what I'm saying. They got less time left than they got more time left. You know, Errol Spence is 30. Bud is gonna be 33. Bud is gonna be 33 on the 28th. And once again, we still don't have a fight made. A fight that should have at least took place last year. But at the end of the day, you got the powers that be behind the scenes that act like they care about the fans, and they really don't give a damn about the fans. And it's pathetic. You know, I got somebody lined up that I'm gonna be doing an interview with pretty soon. He a boxing historian. He wanted, you know, he really know this boxing stuff. He know the pros and cons of. Now, let me get to, but I will say this about Ennis though. I know made the Roy Jones Jr. Comparisons. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. One thing about Roy didn't like the jab very much. So, nah, I wouldn't exactly say that. I'll just say Ennis is gonna be Ennis. That's what we need to do. Just let him be Ennis. Let's not make these comparisons anymore. Because at the end of the day, let these boxers develop their own legacy, their own style. Let them be who they want to be. But I do think Ennis is a very talented fighter. But we won't know how good he is or isn't until, you know, he steps up his level of competition. Like I said, he's not ready for Errol Spence or Bud. But I would see how he would perform against a guy like Delome or somebody like that, maybe Jamal James. See how he perform against those type of dudes. Maybe even somebody like Ugas. So I would like to see how he would do against somebody like them. Because like I said, there's upper echelons of boxers. That's why they have sort of like what you would call classes, sort of like A fighters, B fighters, C fighters. So like I said, I would see how Ennis would do against those kind of dudes. Now, from my knowledge, he's not a PBC fighter, but they have put him on cards. I forgot who he signed to. He's not officially a PBC fighter. All right, so with that being said, let me move on. Man, let me move on to Tyron Woodley and what's up? And his fight with Colby Covington. Good grief. I mean, Tyron Woodley is just such a disappointment. I just think I'm like Dana White. I think he should consider retirement because he's lost. I think out of his last 3 fights, he's lost 2 of them. I mean, come on, man. I don't think it's there no more for him. I really don't. I don't think he got it no more. I think he should consider retirement for real. Now, as far as, you know, Colby goes, I seen that stuff he said. At the end of the day, that don't surprise me. Kanye Pest. Interesting. He ain't got it. But you had people, when I made the video talking about Colby Covington, talk about, oh, you guys are just mad because he lost. I ain't mad about what? We been canceled Tyron Woodley when he did that stuff, when he was like FaceTiming or whatever that was with Mike Perry, and he was like validating and solidifying, telling Mike Perry he could say the N-word, we was like, oh, nah. So we been canceled him. I was glad he lost. I guess y'all don't listen to my channel when I said I hope he don't ever win another fight. And I guess so. I guess he not gonna ever win another fight. As far as the other dude go, that don't surprise me. I wasn't upset. Because that's how a lot of them think. That's what they really be saying behind closed doors. He just let his, white supremacy come the full circle. And everything he said was inaccurate and not factual. I mean, at the end of the day, he showed what he is. And it's nothing to be upset about. I wasn't upset about what he said. I was happy he said it. But then they trying to make it look like this was some... Now, see, here's the thing. We didn't make it a racial victory. A black versus white. They did. Just like they did with Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. They have... You ain't gonna lie. Man, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. They open with theirs. Yeah, they open with theirs. That's just real talk. I wasn't like I said, I wasn't upset. I thanked him because he showed who he really was and where he stands on certain issues like that. So why am I upset? But like I said, we been canceled Tyrone Woodley. Well, both of these platforms are like extremely racist. But I've said this before. I don't have a problem with you if you not black and you white, or you Mexican, or you Asian and you root for an Asian fighter because he Asian. I don't have a problem with that, as long as it's respect. But see, that don't never come our way. But if you black and you say you root for a black fighter because he black, then all of a sudden you hear that reverse racism baloney, which don't exist. Like I say, they always try to change the rules for us. They always try to push back the goalposts for us. Well, that's how it's always been. If you black, you're not allowed to have a voice. You're not allowed to speak on anything. If you play sports, now it's funny. You know what a hypocrite that Kobe Covington is? He trying to call himself criticizing so-called black athletes for having a political standpoint, but then he does the same thing, right? But he speaks on black athletes having a political standpoint, but he was being political. He exercised his white supremacy and tried to exercise his white privilege right then and there. Because he should have just kept it. He should have kept it MMA. And he said he tired of the so-called woke athletes. That's old. I mean, for real, that's old. That's old school white supremacy. But I thank him for it. I thank him for it. I am not mad at that dude. Real talk.